Good morning everyone. This is a replay of my previous Piper Yuzuha Vivian run. If you want to know about the team building and rotation reasoning, you can check my previous video. But now, we're using practice perfection on Piper. And this increase of 1 cost gives me almost 10k increase in the damage score. For an additional perspective, before, I tried using Time Weaver on Piper, but I still got worse score than Waiting Gemini. So evidently, Ali's signature is really good for Piper. Now let's talk about why. First, I want to point out that practice perfection is not the only reason for this score increase. I did get better on my disorder rotation, increasing the disorder count by 4 more than my previous try. The key is to shave some unnecessary moves to proc the disorder faster. Ideally, you want to get the first stun window at around 220 to 215 so that after the stun recovery, we'll have time to proc 4 disorders before the Fiend flies off at around 150. You might also notice that I don't do the Yuzuha parry anymore here, because I find that I need to farm decibels for Vivian ult with dodge counters. Every perfect dodge only gives 20 decibels, but it helps to get her ult before the first stun window. Now practice perfection Piper. 30% attack substat, 60 AM, and 40% physical damage. All of this stat is really good for Piper. On top of Artful buff, which gives 35% depth shred, Piper now has a really good wide coverage on her DPS variables. Except, this W engine doesn't give any AP for Piper. Different than Alice, who can convert the 60 AM into AP stats because of her core kit. So at that aspect, we have to depend solely on her drive D substat rolls. 60 AM is more than if Piper used AMD6 plus 2-piece Phaeton. So here, her AM is way more than enough and should swap out her D6 to attack percent. And the 40% physical damage does have just enough duration to keep her stack at max throughout the rotation. It takes Piper about 15 to 20 seconds to proc Assault twice with corruption in between, depending on condition. But remember that anomaly meter snapshots the agent stat. So even if a stack is expired before the next assault, most of the meter will still be buffed. And thanks to practice perfection, Piper personal damage threshold does increase by a lot compared to Whipping Gemini. Plus, the extra AM also makes Piper build up really smooth in the fight even with attack D6. So it's really good. But is it a boss killing good? That I haven't been able to figure out. If this team can kill the Fiend without limited Mindscape, it may only be possible this season, before the inevitable HP increase. Maybe around 63k is quite possible, 64 is kinda stretching it. Let's assess the room of improvement. My Piper and Vivian is already at the high end of their build. Realistically, I can really improve a lot in this regard. The disorder count is also as high as I can get it, and each stun also already have 5 disorder each. Maybe we can increase the count on the second half of the fight by 1 more, but considering the anomaly ICD, getting more disorder count is kind of a pipe dream. The only further optimization that I can think of is getting the third stun without reducing the disorder count. And this will require a lot of grind. So to get 3 stun window, ideally we'd want to immediately get a second stun window after Miasma at the very late at 1 minute mark. This is possible if you can inflict daze by defensive resist. So if the Fiend refuses to give Yellow Gleam and start this chanting attack, that's a goodbye to third stun. And after the second stun recovery, we still need to get more defense resist to push the daze for the third stun, at least 12 seconds before the end of the fight. And what do you know, the Fiend can still keep refusing to give the Yellow Gleam for it. I personally think I'm done with this team. I've spent too much time grinding and I want to get on another team. Until then, I hope this video helps you and see you next time.